Good morning. Welcome to Morning Special. 여러분 안녕하세요. 11월 7일 목요일 최수진의 Morning Special입니다. There are some habits that are worth doing. Among them, any habit related to health is more than welcomed in our life. Now, plenty of water, frequent exercises, organic food would be some other healthy habits. But how you stand up can also give you what you need, which in most cases is none other than rest. 서 있거나 앉아 있는 자세를 조금만 바꿔도 피로가 크게 줄어든다고 합니다. 바르게 서고 앉지 않으면 근육은 불균형한 몸을 균형 있게 만들기 위해서 과도한 에너지를 쓰기 때문인데요. 예를 들어 자세가 구부정하면 뒷목 근육이 과도하게 긴장하면서 두통을 비롯한 피로감이 느껴집니다. 서 있을 때는 한쪽 다리에만 무게중심을 두는 것을 주의해야 합니다. 사람들은 대개 무의식 중에 오른쪽 다리에 무게중심을 두는데요. 또 다리를 꼬고 앉는 자세는 가능한 피하는 게 좋습니다. 반대쪽 다리도 꼬면 되지 않느냐라고 생각할 수 있겠지만 오른쪽 왼쪽을 번갈아 꼬는 행위를 반복할수록 몸의 균형이 더 무너지기 때문이죠. And for people like myself who spend a lot of time sitting down because of work, learning how to stand properly is a bit of a wake-up call, I have to say. Well, with that in mind, let me give you today's first quiz question. This pink bird is known for its ability to stand on one leg. 1번, flamingo. 2번, 펭수. 3번, 수. 골라주시면 되겠습니다. 오늘도 청취자 여러분의 많은 참여 기다리고 있어요. 퀴즈 정답 보내주신 분들 중에 추첨을 통해서 총 5분께 비타민 C 세트 보내드리겠습니다. 또 여러분의 소식과 소감 그리고 방송 중 궁금한 질문 있으시면 보내주세요. 짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원에 샵 1045고요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. Okay then, let's kick off today's show with today's global headlines. 세계 각국 언론사들의 어떤 헤드라인이 올라왔는지 살펴보는 시간입니다. Touch Global Headlines.
The United States and China, ahead of signing their so-called Phase 1 trade deal, have started showing different stances regarding tariffs.
미국과 중국이 1단계 무역 합의 서명을 앞두고 막판 줄다리기를 벌이고 있습니다.
Ahead of next year's U.S. presidential election, Democrats have claimed victory in 4 key state elections.
미국 대선을 1년 앞두고 4개 주에서 실시된 지방선거에서 민주당이 승리를 거뒀습니다.
Chinese President Xi Jinping and his French counterpart Emmanuel Macron have agreed to strengthen cooperation in various sectors, including trade and finance.
시진핑 중국 국가주석이 중국을 국빈 방문한 에마뉴엘 마크롱 프랑스 대통령과 만나 무역, 금융 등 다양한 분야에서 협력을 강화하기로 했습니다.
Global greenhouse gas emissions rose by 2% last year, with India, the United States, and China recording the biggest increase rates.
지난해 전 세계 온실가스 배출량이 2%포인트 늘어났으며 인도와 미국, 중국의 증가 비율이 큰 것으로 나타났습니다.
Italy has announced that it will make it compulsory for school children to study climate change and sustainable development.
이탈리아 정부가 내년부터 기후변화와 지속가능한 개발 이슈를 초중고등학교 의무 교과 과정에 포함시키기로 했습니다. For the headlines and more this morning, I'm joined by none other than Steve Hatherley. Good morning, Steve.
Everybody stand up.
Properly.
What is the proper way to stand up? Wait, what's the improper way to stand up? One leg?
Yeah, well, one leg or sort of leaning to one side or the other, they say is not good.
Yeah.
It also talks about what are the bad ways of sitting down, because standing up, sitting down, they're all sort of linked together.
I see.
And if you cross your legs, that's apparently bad for your balance.
Uh-huh. People tend to cross their legs always on the same side, right?
Generally on the right, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know if that's related to your handedness or not.
Maybe.
I remember many years ago when I was working on Morning Special, I had injured myself, and maybe our long time Morning Special listeners will remember this. This is in our old studios. I had injured myself exercising either in the gym or playing hockey, I forget. But anyway, I had injured my lower back and then around my thigh down to my knee. It was this one kind of thing that wouldn't allow me to sit down and stand up comfortably.
Yeah.
So I did Morning Special for about 1 month standing up. We
Really?
had a standing microphone. Everyone else in the studio was sitting down. I was standing up.
그런 적이 있었어요.
I couldn't sit comfortably. I was so injured. Yeah.
앉지 못하면은 당연히 일어서서 방송을 해야겠지만 한 달 동안이나 고생하셨네요. That must have been tough.
I wonder if any of our listeners remember that, actually.
Yeah, let us know.
Please
혹시 기억하시는
do.
분들 계시면 알려주세요.
There are, I don't know in England, but in Halifax, Nova Scotia, where I'm from, that's the only place I know, but I'm sure there are other examples. Some radio shows do their entire show standing up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a station in Halifax where the studio itself is quite small, but they have a table shaped like a triangle, and then they have microphones on all three sides of the triangle, and the three people on the show, they don't sit in chairs.
Wow.
They're all standing talking to each
That's
other.
kind of cool.
I think it would kind of change the vibe or the mood of the show. I don't exactly know how, but it might be a fun experiment someday.
그러네요. 일어서서 방송하는 거 저도 생각해보니까 굉장히 이색적일 것 같습니다. Maybe for better posture, that might be the way to go. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, yes, good morning to you, Sue. It's good to see you
Good morning
today.
to you too. 정수임 님도요. 안녕하세요. 오늘 아침도 모스와 함께합니다 하셨습니다. Good morning to you too. All right, well, if you'd like to listen to the headlines again, you can do so by visiting our website. Morning Special 홈페이지에서 헤드라인 다시 듣기 무료로 하실 수 있습니다. 많은 이용 바랍니다. Let's go over the headlines.
Headline number 1 this morning, the United States and China, ahead of signing their so-called Phase 1 trade deal, have started showing different stances regarding tariffs.
미국과 중국이 1단계 무역 합의 서명을 앞두고 막판 줄다리기를 벌이고 있습니다.
So China is pushing the United States President Donald Trump to remove more tariffs imposed in September as part of this Phase 1 U.S.-China trade deal. So there's a couple of specific things that we're talking about here.
Yep.
So the deal later signed this month, maybe, by Trump and Xi Jinping. The location, by the way, of that signing is yet to be determined. But it's expected to include a U.S. promise to scrap tariffs scheduled for December 15th. That's on about $156 billion worth of Chinese imports. And those imports include cell phones and laptop computers and toys and things of that nature. Now, another one is that Chinese negotiators want Washington to drop 15% of tariffs on about $125 billion worth of Chinese goods. That went into effect on September 1st. So those are two of the big sticking points apparently for China.
그렇습니다. 이제 미국과 중국이 무역 합의 1단계 서명을 앞두고 있죠. 그런데 미국에서는 일단 중국산 제품에 대한 10% 관세, 한 1,000억 달러치인데요. 이 관세를 먼저 철회하는 방안을 염두에 두고 있다고 합니다. 그런데 중국은 이것으로는 좀 부족하다. 2,500달러 규모의 제품에 대한 25% 관세도 철회해달라 이렇게 주장을 하고 있습니다. China wants obviously more of those tariffs lifted.
They do, and one more that they're seeking relief from is an earlier 25% tariffs on about $250 billion of imports from machinery and semiconductors all the way to furniture. And a person familiar with Beijing's negotiating position said that China is continuing to press Washington to remove all tariffs as soon as possible. Now, on the U.S. side of things, since Trump took office in 2017, his administration has been pressing China to curb big subsidies to state-owned firms and to end the forced transfer of American technology to Chinese firms as a price of kind of doing business in China. But analysts say that this Phase 1 deal will fail to adequately address those issues, it will largely focus on Chinese purchases of U.S. farm goods and intellectual property protections.
네, 미국 측에서는 이 10% 관세를 철회하는 것만 해도 이전과는 크게 달라진 모습이기 때문에 많이 양보한다라는 입장이지만 중국에서는 기왕 그렇게 관세를 철회하는 거 좀 더 많이 철회해라라는 입장인 것 같습니다. 그런데 미국에서는 그 와중에 또 중국의 인권 문제를 가지고 또 중국을 압박하고 있는 모습입니다. The humanitarian issues is another sticking point between the two countries, and Washington has brought that up as well.
Yes, but it does suggest that the U.S. and China are hoping to kind of have a longer lasting truce because this has been going on for a long time, for more than 15 months now. Maybe it doesn't seem that long, but it has. The United States and China have been in this damaging trade war. It's been bad for both sides. They've been imposing tariffs on billions of dollars worth of goods. It's harmed China's economy, it's harmed U.S. businesses, and it's had an effect on the global economy as well.
And it all comes ahead of the U.S. presidential election. So what President Trump does now could affect maybe his voter turnout.
I would say everything
Everything
Trump
he
does
does.
from now until next November will have an
Exactly.
effect on that. Yeah.
All right, let's go on to our next headline.
Speaking of U.S. elections, headline number 2. Ahead of next year's U.S. presidential elections, Democrats have claimed victory in 4 key state elections.
미국 대선을 1년 앞두고 4개의 주에서 실시된 지방선거에서 민주당이 승리를 거뒀습니다.
So the U.S. Democrats claimed an upset win in Kentucky on Tuesday over a Republican governor backed by President Donald Trump. They also seized control of the state legislature in Virginia.
이번에 이제 지방선거라고 하는 게 더 구체적으로 말하자면 주지사, 주의회 선거였는데요. 총 4개 지역에서 치러졌습니다. Kentucky, Virginia, Mississippi, New Jersey. 네, 여기서 미시시피를 제외한 3개 지역에서 민주당이 승리를 확정하거나 거의 확실시되고 있다. 이렇게 보고 있는데요. Let's go over some of the regions here. Kentucky in particular, I think is interesting.
Kentucky was a big one because this was seen as a major change there. That was a stronghold of the Republican Party because Kentucky is where President Trump won the 2016 presidential election by 30 percentage points over Hillary Clinton. So Kentucky was a red state, a big red state.
그러게요. 켄터키주가 지난 2016년 미국 대선 당시에 힐러리 클린턴 후보를 제치고 트럼프 대통령이 30%포인트 차이로 승리를 거둔 지역입니다. 그래서 이번에도 당연히 공화당이 압승을 거둘 것으로 기대를 했으나 그러지 못했습니다. 그래서 대이변이다. 이런 평가를 받고 있어요.
So in Kentucky, Democratic Attorney General Andy Beshear, whose father Steve, by the way, was the state's last Democratic governor, he scored a very narrow victory over Governor Matt Bevin despite an election eve rally headlined by President Trump. He was there to show his support for Matt Bevin. The results, as I mentioned, very, very close. According to a real-time tally from the New York Times, Beshear won 49.2% to 48.8%. Very close results.
And Mississippi, of course, was the only region out of the 4 where the Republicans did win. And they say that Democrats actually have not won in that part of the U.S. since 1999. So I guess their hopes weren't that high over there.
Right. So these outcomes from the Tuesday elections in the 4 states that we talked about, these could offer clues to how next year's presidential election could unfold when Trump is aiming for his second term.
Some people say that Virginia is the people's barometer. That's the region people sort of zoom in on.
Virginia, Democrats wrested both chambers of Virginia's legislature from narrow Republican majorities, and that could give the party complete control of the state government for the first time in 25 years.
그래요. 버지니아 주 같은 경우에는 민심의 barometer라는 별명이 있을 정도인데요. 이 지역에서 또 마찬가지로 민주당이 승리를 했습니다. Okay, let's go on to our next headline.
Headline number 3 this morning, Chinese President President Xi Jinping and his French counterpart, Emmanuel Macron, have agreed to strengthen cooperation in various sectors, including trade and finance.
시진핑 중국 국가주석이 중국을 국빈 방문한 이마뉴엘 마크롱 프랑스 대통령과 만나 무역, 금융 등 다양한 분야에서 협력을 강화하기로 했습니다.
So here we're finding France and China reasserting their mutual support for what they call irreversible Paris Climate Agreement. This is, of course, just days after the United States made its formal step to withdraw from the accord. They were speaking at a joint press conference on Wednesday, and that's where French President Emmanuel Macron and Xi Jinping, Chinese president, also maintained their strong commitment, quote, strong commitment to improving international cooperation on climate change.
네, 그렇습니다. 미국이 Paris Agreement, 파리 협약에서 탈퇴를 공식 선언하고 유엔에 통보한 지 며칠 지나지 않았는데요. 중국과 프랑스는 다시 한번 파리 기후 협약에 대한 협력을 다지는 그런 협력을 이번에 이제 체결했고요. 특히나 그 내용을 좀 보게 되면 협력 규모는 우리 돈으로 한 17조 원에 이른다고 합니다. We're looking at various areas here, and I suppose there's the Airbus trade going on between China and France there, engine development, and there's also agriculture and climate, as you said.
Yeah, that's right. Some of the deals signed were in aeronautics, as you mentioned, energy, agricultural industry, and China also approved imports of poultry, beef, and pork from 20 French companies.
네, 이번에 이제 협력을 강화하기로 한 분야 중에는 이제 중국의 그 에어버스 항공사 구매 약속이 들어 있었고요. 그 다음에는 농업 분야에서도 협력을 다지는 그런 모습이었습니다. Okay, we'll go on to our next headline now.
Headline number 4, global greenhouse gas emissions have risen by 2% rose by 2% last year, with India, the United States, and China recording the biggest increase rates.
지난해 전 세계 온실가스 배출량이 2%포인트 늘어났으며 인도와 미국, 중국의 증가 비율이 큰 것으로 나타났습니다.
So India, the United States, and China, they saw some of the biggest rises in their greenhouse gas emissions last year, and that's due to massive energy consumption, and that energy consumption is dominated by fossil fuels, and that is putting global climate goals at risk, according to this new report. So this new report comes from this consultancy firm, Capgemini, and they said in their World Energy Markets Observatory report that emissions jumped 6.3% in India, 3.4% in the United States, and 2.3% in China.
네, 그렇습니다. 이번에 발표된 보고서의 제목은 우리말로 하자면 세계 에너지 시장 감시 보고서인데요. 작년 같은 경우에는 세계 온실가스 배출량이 증가한 폭이 2%였습니다. 그래서 2017년과 비교했을 때 1.6%에서 이제 2% 포인트 상승했다. 이렇게 볼 수 있겠고요. Over the years, we've been looking at a tremendous amount of increase.
Yeah, a 2% rise globally, as a matter of fact, in 2018, up from 1.6% in the previous year. And again, that's showing that the efforts to curb greenhouse gases blamed for global warming have somewhat stalled, or at least really slowed down. If you want to look at some of the interesting key findings from this report, India, their energy consumption grew by 4%, and 59% of their power generation comes from coal. Global renewable generation rose 14.5% in 2018. As the cost of installing wind and solar power continues to fall. If we talk about electric vehicles, this is interesting. Electric vehicle sales surged in China, 78% increase in China, 79% increase in the United States, and 34% in the EU.
그렇군요. 온실가스 배출량만 놓고 봤을 때는 미국 같은 경우에 6.4% 늘어났고요. 아닙니다. 가장 이제 인도가 6.4% 늘었고 미국은 3.4% 그리고 중국은 2.3% 온실가스 배출량이 늘었다고 합니다. 2010년과 비교했을 때 이 증가율이 한 2배 정도 늘어난 것이라고 볼 수 있겠죠. It's interesting that we have these figures here which are very contradictory to what Washington said recently. They said they haven't been releasing a lot of greenhouse gases.
Yeah, and we're seeing contradictions it's kind of an up and down, isn't it? Because like I said, we're seeing a massive surge in the sales of electric vehicles. We're seeing some moves in the right direction, but another statistic, not so good, clean energy investment declined by 14% in the first half of 2019 on the same period from last year. Clean energy investment in the same period fell by 39% in China, 6% in the United States, but in some countries doing the right thing. 10% increase in China, 35% increase on renewable energy investment in the UK.
그렇군요. 이렇게 온실가스 배출량은 계속 증가하고 있는데 또 청정에너지에 대한 투자액은 감소하고 있다라고 합니다. Staying with the environment theme, let's go on to our final headline.
Italy has announced that it will make it compulsory for school children to study climate change and sustainable development.
이탈리아 정부가 내년부터 기후변화와 지속가능한 개발 이슈를 초중고등학교 의무 교과 과정에 포함시키기로 했습니다.
It's quite interesting, isn't it? Yes, Education Minister Lorenzo Fioramonte, who is a former economics professor at South Africa's Pretoria University, and he's the government's most vocal supporter of green policies. In an interview, he was speaking in his Rome office on Monday, and he said that all state schools would dedicate 33 hours per year, that's almost 1 hour per school week, to climate change issues from the start of the next academic year in September.
네, 그렇습니다. 내년 9월부터 시작하는 학기에서 아이들이 초, 중, 고교 이제 공립학교를 얘기하는데요. 기후변화와 지속가능한 개발을 의무적으로 배우게 됩니다. 1년에 33시간, 그러니까 일주일에 한 1시간꼴로 이렇게 환경, 기후변화에 대한 수업을 받게 되는 거죠.
It is a sign of the times, isn't it? I've
definitely.
never heard anything like this before. Also, many traditional subjects such as geography and mathematics and physics, these subjects will also be studied from the perspective of sustainable development. Yeah, so
It might be in a math question, for example.
Exactly. So it will be on the minds of at least young Italians, right?
그래요. 보통 그 전통적인 과목, 뭐 지리라든지 수학, 물리 등등도 지속 가능한 어떤 이제 환경과 개발을 생각하는 그런 관점에서 수업이 앞으로 진행된다고 합니다.
Yes, so this education minister, he's quite an interesting character because he was criticized by the opposition in September. He was encouraging students to skip school to take part in climate protests.
네, 이렇게 의무 교과 과정에 기후변화와 지속가능한 개발이 포함된 것은 세계 최초입니다. Those are our headlines for this morning. Let's remind our listeners of the quiz.
All right, so the quiz question this morning. This pink bird is known for its ability to stand on one leg. Is it number 1, flamingo, number 2, pengsu, or number 3, 수?
네, 계속해서 정답 보내주세요. 총 5분께 추첨을 통해서 비타민 C 세트 보내드리겠습니다. All right, and yeah, I mean, do you want to hear some pengor again?
The answer is always yes. You never have to ask. It doesn't get old. It doesn't get old.
김혜선님이요. 선생님, 스티브 선생님 기억나요.
really?
안쓰러웠어요 하셨습니다. Felt sorry for you is what she says.
I felt sorry for myself too. That was tough.
끝번호 6450 쓰시는 분이요. 하하하하 기억나요. 서 계셨을 뿐만 아니라 왔다 갔다도 하셨어요. 허리 아픈 할아버지 같았어요. 허리를 한 손으로 짚고.
Seriously. And you know, it's that type of injury where you can't really ask for sympathy from other people because it's self-inflicted.
Yeah.
Self-inflicted means you did it to yourself, right? I did it to myself playing hockey, I think.
네, 많이들 기억하고 계시네요. 오늘은 괜찮습니다. You're okay now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm fully recovered.
Good.
6 years, 7 years later.
All right, well, there's a new meaning to this next song then. You've become better in the sense that your leg and your back is fine. This is Better Man by Robbie Williams. You're listening to Morning Special. We're feeling much better this morning thanks to your messages. 이현경님 says, 아이 등교시키고 집에 가는 길에 항상 들으며 합니다. 시그널 오프닝 음악이랑 Good Morning 하시는 최수진님 목소리랑 활기찬 스티브 선생님 목소리 들으면 기분이 up 하셨어요.
What is 활기찬?
Very vibrant, energetic.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. 이정옥 님이요. 11월 8일 내일이 입동입니다. 겨울이 시작되는 날이죠. 내일 아침 서울 기준 영하 1도까지 떨어진다고 하니 추위에 대비하셔야겠어요. 하셨습니다. 혹시 기상청에서 일하시나요? 감사합니다. 내일 그렇군요. It's going to be cold tomorrow. Minus 1 degrees in Seoul.
What?
That's the forecast.
Oh my goodness.
I know. It's going to...
It was like 16 degrees. Yeah, I had a t-shirt on yesterday.
Well, in the afternoon it gets quite warm, but in the mornings it's already chilly, and tomorrow it's going to be below zero. Wow.
Right. Time to start parking your cars. You know, it's funny. There's a kind of car park culture. Not culture. How do I explain? When you live in an apartment complex, many people will know this, parking can be quite competitive.
Yeah.
Right? And in the summertime, it's nearly impossible to find a space on the ground level. Right?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Nobody wants to park underground because then you have to walk down there to get your car. But in the wintertime, it's the opposite. You can find any space you want at ground level because everybody wants the downstairs parking spots,
It's
right?
so cold in the morning.
Yeah, right.
그렇습니다. 불타는 가을님은요. 오늘도 화물차 운전을 하기 위해서 출근하면서 잘 듣습니다. 단풍 구경하시는 분들 때문에 도로가 꽉 막혀서 힘드네요. 힘 좀 주세요 하셨습니다. 불타는 가을님 화이팅 하세요. 너무 수고가 많으십니다. Yeah, if you're driving a lorry or a truck and, you know, the roads are congested, I guess it must be double the stress and frustration.
I always think about that. You know, if you compare that to taxi drivers who have to drive all day or all night in their cars in really bad traffic, that's stressful. But at least you could say, if they want to, they can speak with the passenger. But truck drivers don't have that option. So it's a very, very difficult and very lonely job. So kudos to you, sir or ma'am.
네, truck 또는 이제 lorry라는 표현을 제가 아까 썼는데요. 영국에서 많이 쓰는 표현입니다.
캐나다에서 많이 하는 표현입니다.
캐나다도요? 네.
No, truck.
캐나다에선 truck로 많이 쓰고 lorry는 영국에서 많이 씁니다. Keep sending in your messages and answers to the quiz. If you have any questions, send those away as well. We have 5 vitamin C sets prepared for you in the first hour. Let's get to our first news focus story. 자, 첫 번째 뉴스 포커스입니다. 미국의 밀레니얼 세대는 부모 세대인 베이비 부머가 자신들과 같은 연령대에 벌던 소득보다 20% 적게 버는 것으로 조사됐습니다. 교육 수준은 높아졌지만 경제적으로는 더 어려워졌다는 얘기죠. Let's listen to the story.
According to a recent report, millennials earn 20% less than baby boomers did at the same stage of life. Specifically, median earnings for those 18 to 34 are lower than they were in the 1980s, and the flow of today's paychecks is less predictable, due in part to the effects of the Great Recession and a rise in contract and freelance positions that may be less consistent in hours and pay. That's in spite of overall higher education levels. Nearly 40% of millennials 25 to 37 have at least a bachelor's degree, compared to just a quarter of baby boomers and 30% of Gen X when they were the same age.
All these different labels and names can be a bit confusing. According to one source online, this is how the different generations are categorized. A baby boomer is someone born between 1946 and 1964, so that's after the war. So a lot of parents, I suppose, of the millennials are baby boomers. And then the X generation are those born between 1980 and 1965. And so this is right before the millennials.
That's me.
And the millennials, they say, is between 1981 and 1996. Now, a lot of these people went to school after financial crises, broke out worldwide. And so they had a bit of a difficult time financially when they were university students, although many did still get a proper university education.
Not only a proper university education, I think a higher level of education than many of their parents or many of their parents' generation may have had. I remember back when I was in university or before I was in university, to have a master's degree was considered this wow, amazing thing. Oh my goodness, you have a master's degree? You're one of the most educated people I've ever met.
Yeah.
Now millennials Almost everyone has it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's become commonplace. So the problem with that, and this is just my opinion, but I think the problem with that, when you have an overeducated population, we have that here in Korea, and we have it in Canada too. When you have an overeducated group of young people coming out of university, they don't want to take a low-level job.
Exactly.
Because they've spent so much money and so many years in university that they feel like they deserve something good right from the get-go, and that is troublesome.
Hence the low employment rate.
That is correct.
네. 몇 가지 표현을 보겠습니다. Predictable.
If something is predictable, it means that you know it is going to happen. Some different examples. Weather can be predictable. I think a good example of that, if any of our listeners have been to Los Angeles before, it's like Groundhog Day. You look out the window, it's the same thing every day. It's always sunny and it's always 70-some degrees Fahrenheit. The weather is very predictable. You know it's going to happen.
그렇죠. 예측 가능하다라는 뜻의 predictable 어디서든지 쓸 수 있는데 이 경우에는 the flow of today's paychecks is less predictable 이라고 했어요. 덜 예측 가능하다.
A lot of contract work.
Yeah.
Right? If you think about an actor, for example, right? Every job they do is contract to contract. So their paychecks are not predictable at all.
요즘에 이제 밀레니얼 세대들은 굉장히 많은 경우 뭐 자영업이라든지 프리랜서 직업을 가지고 있어서 이렇게 매달 꼬박꼬박 들어오는 어떤 예측 가능한 월급이라기보다는 좀 예측하기 힘든 그런 수입을 벌고 있다. 전체적으로는 그래서 평균이 내려가는데 하는 요인이다라고 하네요. And then consistent.
Yeah, that's right. So these jobs for younger people may be less consistent in their hours and in their pay. So if something is consistent, it means it's the same over time. So you could use that weather in LA as an example again. It is predictable because you know it's going to happen, but it's consistent because there's not much change. It's the same in January and February and March. I don't know exactly, but for example. So that's an example of being consistent. But in the context of the article, we're saying that for millennials, the working hours are less consistent. The pay is less consistent and also less predictable.
네, 일하는 시간이나 그다음에 받는 돈이 일관되지 않다, 한결같지 않다, less consistent라는 표현이 여기서 쓰인 겁니다.
Do you want a fun way to use consistent?
Yeah?
Okay, if your boss always complains to you, you are 5 minutes late for the office every single day, you can say, hey, at least I'm consistent.
상사가 너 왜 맨날 5분씩 늦니? 그러면은 I'm always consistent.
Exactly.
한결같잖아요. 이렇게 대답하면 된대요.
Or if you're a student and you always get C in math class and your parents complain, why do you always get C?
너 왜 맨날 C 학점이니?
Hey, at least I'm consistent.
한결같잖아요. 한결같이 혼나야 될 것 같아요. 자, 들어보겠습니다. 다시.
According to a recent report, millennials earn 20% less than baby boomers did at the same stage of life. Specifically, median earnings for those 18 to 34 are lower than they were in the 1980s, and the flow of today's paychecks is less predictable, due in part to the effects of the Great Recession and a rise in contract and freelance positions that may be less consistent in pay and hours. That's in spite of overall higher education levels. Nearly 40% of millennials 25 to 37 have at least a bachelor's degree, compared to just a quarter of baby boomers and 30% of Gen X when they were the same age.
자, 두 번째 뉴스 포커스입니다. 아카데미상을 수상한 전설의 명배우 제인 펀다. 올해 벌써 81세인데요. 이런 고령에도 불구하고 기후변화 시위에 열성적으로 참여하던 중 지난주에는 경찰에 체포되어 유치장에서 하룻밤을 보냈다고 합니다. Let's listen to the story.
Academy Award-winning actress Jane Fonda has been arrested for a fourth time protesting climate change on Capitol Hill and is spending the night in jail, expecting to appear before the U.S. District Court Saturday morning. Fire Drill Fridays is a weekly protest organized to pressure lawmakers into taking action on doing something about climate change. Fonda's fourth protest centered on promoting women's involvement in the movement. The actress was first arrested on October 11th after she vowed to be arrested every Friday until January to protest climate change.
We briefly spoke about this incident during one of our movie segments, I believe, but we didn't go into too much detail. So what happened? She was arrested.
Yeah, she's not young. She's not a young woman
right.
either. She's 81 years old, but she feels very passionate about climate change, and we talk about it all the time on this show. And it's a big issue in the United States, not only for people like you and I, but also for big celebrities too. And Jane Fonda is one of those people. So this Fire Drill Fridays thing is a thing where they go to Capitol Hill and they protest, and she's been arrested now for a fourth time. And
Exactly.
according to her plan, there will probably be a fifth and sixth and seventh and maybe more.
맞아요. 이제 벌써 네 번째 체포가 된 건데요. 앞으로도 계속 금요일마다 체포될 계획이다. 이렇게 얘기를 하면서 시위를 멈추지 않겠다고 했습니다. Alright, so the protest was organized to pressure lawmakers into taking action.
Yes, so pressure someone into doing something. Pressure someone into doing something. And so if I tell Sue, please change your opening to this. Or a better example would be your producer tells you to do that,
Okay.
our producer. And you say, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But then Paul says, no, Sue, you should really do that. And then I say, yeah, Sue, you should do it. We're pressuring you, right? So we're pressuring Sue, pressuring someone into doing something, changing her opening.
네, 얘기만 들어도 압박을 가하는 게 느껴지네요. Pressure someone 그러면은 압력을 가하다, 압박을 가하다라는 뜻이 있습니다. 그래서 pressure lawmakers into taking action이라고 했기 때문에 이제 국회의원들로 하여금 환경 문제에 대해서 어떤 행동을 취해라라는 압력을 가하는 그런 기후변화 시위다 이런 뜻입니다. They're saying do something about climate change.
Yeah, this is a really good expression to learn. It's difficult to explain word by word. Do something about. Well, what are we talking about? Let me give you a context. If you are staying at a hotel
Yep.
and it's 2 a.m. and outside you can hear tak, 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 construction, right?
Yeah.
So you go down to the front desk and you say this. Can you do something about the noise, please? It means please take action to fix this situation. And they might respond with, yes, we're doing something about the noise.
아, 그렇군요. 조치를 취하다라는 뜻입니다. Do something about 뭐뭐뭐. 호텔 방에서 도저히 잘 수가 없어요. 밖에서 공사하는 소리 때문에 어떻게 좀 해주세요. 어떻게 조치를 좀 취해주세요. 라고 한다면 please do something about the construction. 이렇게 얘기를 할 수 있겠죠.
You can use it about yourself too,
okay.
right? So if you say, oh, I'm so busy these days and my diet has gotten really, really bad. I'm eating way too much fast food. I have to do something about my diet. I have to take action to fix this problem.
I have to do something about it. 이걸 고치기 위해서 내가 뭔가 조치를 취해야겠어. 라는 뜻입니다. Let's listen to the story one more time.
Academy Award-winning actress Jane Fonda has been arrested for a fourth time protesting climate change on Capitol Hill and is spending the night in jail, expecting to appear before the U.S. District Court Saturday morning. Fire Drill Fridays is a weekly protest organized to pressure lawmakers into taking action on doing something about climate change. Fonda's fourth protest centered on promoting women's involvement in the movement. The actress was first arrested on October 11th after she vowed to be arrested every Friday until January to protest climate change.
서경숙 님이요. Jane Fonda. 와, 멋지네요. 하셨습니다.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that she feels so passionately about this at 81 years old.
Yeah.
And spending a night in jail, I mean, do we really need to put an 81-year-old grandma in jail
Exactly.
for something she believes in?
Yeah, right. Well, let's remind our listeners of the quiz once again.
The question is, this pink bird is known for its ability to stand on one leg. Number 1, flamingo. Number 2, pingsu. Or number 3, Sue. The question one more time. This pink bird, that's a clue,
Yeah.
is known for its ability to stand on one leg. Number 1, flamingo. Number 2, pingsu. Or number 3, Sue.
I think you had to stress pink because a lot of our listeners, some of our listeners that is, are saying all three can stand on one leg.
Yes, I've seen Sue stand on one leg, yes.
But of course, not all three of these answer choices are pink. So choose the one with that color.
That's right.
Okay, our writer says, Steve, can you speak pidgin?
I don't. Paul is asking me if I speak pidgin. I don't know what that means.
What is that?
I don't know how to respond to that question. I know.
Did you make a pigeon sound?
I know.
before? Yeah.
Okay, you do the penguin one.
Okay.
We'll have a conversation.
All right.
Penguin
okay.
to pigeon.
Okay. So Steve. 이겁니다. 뭐 퀴즈에 별로 도움은 안 됐을 것 같은데요. 오답 힌트로 드리도록 하겠습니다. 계속해서 정답 보내주세요. 총 5분께 추첨을 통해서 비타민 C 세트 보내드릴게요.
We just lost half of our listeners.
Oh
this morning.
no, come back! This is Silver Convention with Fly, Robin Fly. 5474님이요. 하하하하하하 웃게 해주시네요. 두 분의 케미 쩔어 재주가 많으셔요 하셨습니다. Thank you for that. All right, we'll go on now to our next news focus story. 다음 뉴스 포커스입니다. 지난 4일 프랑스산 와인 12병이 국제 우주 정거장에 배달됐습니다. 우주 비행사들이 지구를 바라보며 와인 한 잔을 하기 위한 걸까요? 아닙니다. 이건 어떤 과학 실험을 위해서라는데요. Let's listen to the story.
A dozen bottles of fine French wine arrived at the space station Monday, not for the astronauts, but for science. The red Bordeaux wine will age for a year up there before returning to Earth. Researchers will study how weightlessness and space radiation affect the process with an eye on developing new flavors and properties for the food industry. The Cygnus capsule that pulled up to the space station on Monday contains multiple commercial ventures. Also on board, an oven for baking chocolate chip cookies, as well as samples of carbon fiber used by Italy's Lamborghini in its sports cars.
네, 무중력 상태에서 그것도 이제 우주 방사선에 노출된 상태에서 와인이 과연 어떻게 숙성이 될까? 이걸 지켜보기 위한 하나의 실험이라고 볼 수 있겠습니다. Very interesting experiment.
Yeah, I wonder, what will that do to the taste or flavor
Yeah.
of the wine? And then once they figure that out, well, then how does that change things for the production of wine in the future? It's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. We had some space experts on our morning date a few weeks back to mark the 50th anniversary of Neil Armstrong going to the moon. And our guests said that if they ever get to go to the moon or Mars even later on, they would like to take wine with them
Okay.
to outer space. And they were talking about, a possible business, but I guess someone took their idea
Yeah.
and they're looking into this before that.
Or maybe these people from the News Focus 3 were listening to Morning Special that day. They heard Morning Date
Yeah.
and thought this is an amazing idea. Yeah.
Okay.
Also kind of cool that they're going to have chocolate chip cookies on the space station too.
맞아요. 와인뿐만 아니라 쿠키를 만들 수 있는 오븐도 우주정거장에 간다는 소식입니다. 와, 우주에서 쿠키가 과연 어떤 맛일지 궁금하네요. Okay, so let's look at some expressions here.
So this capsule pulled up to the space station on Monday. So pull up can be used in a couple of different ways. One, when we are talking about vehicles arriving at a destination.
Right.
Literally arriving. And we know the expression pull over, right? We've talked
Yeah.
about that. The police will pull you over, pull your car over. Well, pull up is to arrive at the point where you will get out of the car.
네. 어디 어디에다가 차를 세운다라는 뜻의 pull up to가 있는데 뒤에 나온 space station이니까 우주정거장에 가서 도착을 했다라는 뜻이 되겠습니다.
A lot of people order taxis these days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it through your smartphone. So when the taxi is arriving to you, and then we say it's pulling up.
아, 그렇군요. 택시가 나한테 오고 있다. 라고 할 때 it's pulling up. 특히 뭐 예약했을 경우에는 와서 이제 멈출 것을 예상하고 쓸 수 있는 말입니다. Also on board, an oven for cookies.
Yeah, that's right. So the onboard in this context means that it's the onboard like an airplane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, where this thing or this person is inside the aircraft, or in this case, the capsule. So also in the capsule, also on board was an oven for chocolate chip cookies.
그렇습니다. On board 그러면은 선상에 있다라는 뜻이에요. 그래서 뭐 비행기가 될 수도 있고 배가 될 수도 있고 이 경우에는 이제 우주선이 되겠습니다. 근데 가끔 보면은 차량 스티커에도 baby on board 이런 스티커가 있잖아요.
Do you know why that is? This is what I was told.
Is there a serious aspect to this?
No. This is what I was told the other day.
Okay.
So I thought that when we see a baby on board a sticker, it's to tell the other drivers, oh, this car will drive more slowly or more carefully. But apparently that's not the reason for the baby on board sticker. It's for emergency services. If the car gets in an accident, the babies are very small. So it tells the emergency respondents there's a baby. Potentially there's a baby in this car.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if that's true.
No, I think I've heard that as well.
I heard it the other day.
That is fascinating.
Isn't it?
All right, let's listen to this story one more time.
A dozen bottles of fine French wine arrived at the space station Monday, not for the astronauts, but for science. The red Bordeaux wine will age for a year up there before returning to Earth. Researchers will study how weightlessness and space radiation affect the aging process, with an eye on developing new flavors and properties for the food industry. The Cygnus capsule that pulled up to the space station on Monday contains multiple commercial ventures. Also on board, an oven for baking chocolate chip cookies, as well as samples of carbon fiber used by Italy's Lamborghini in its sports cars.
What's the answer to the quiz, Steve?
The question was, this pink bird is known for its ability to stand on one leg. The only pink bird, as far as I know, among these options was the number one flamingo.
네, 1번 플라밍고가 정답입니다. 홍학이죠. 전경배님, 김병국님, 이영재님, 김유민님, 그리고 9568님 축하드립니다. 비타민 C set 보내드릴게요. Steve, very quickly, what is today's expression?
I used it in the first part of the show when you did your Peng Soon impression again, and you said, and I laughed. And then I said, ha ha ha, it never gets old. And that's the expression.
Okay.
When you've heard a joke 15, 25, 100 times, but it's still funny, then you say this, ah ha ha, it never gets old. The joke doesn't get old.
네, 그렇습니다. 질리지 않는다라는 뜻의 It never gets old 오늘의 표현입니다. Thank you, Steve.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much for having me. Have a great Thursday, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Absolutely. Coming up in the second hour of Morning Special, Say What? And also movies. Here's Carrie Underwood taking us there inside your heaven.